Hey, good morning. So, hi Natalia. Hi. So, just wanted to share a message this morning a little bit. I mean, look where I am. It's pretty amazing. Pretty cool. And, you know, I don't know. We don't talk a lot about God because it's not a subject that many people, in a way, I mean, many of us have looked into it deeply, but it's not really a subject that people can speak with any authority generally. And those who do speak with authority, I think in many ways it's an authority that's come from education, or authority that's come from some organization, or and so I have neither. So, but I'm gonna venture into the topic a little bit, and because I think that we've been sold somewhat a bill of goods. You know, we've been sold a package, and an idea of God that's separate from us. And the more I spend in looking deep into that subject, into the idea of who are we and how are we all connected, and where does God play a role in this? Is there a God? The more I recognize that we're not separate from God, and there isn't some way that we can just do something that all of a sudden some omnipotent being separate from us bestows gifts in our plate. There's a lot of childhood images of God that many of us have had that may be worth examining, and because a lot of us, and I'm one of those people, that were told that God was separate from us, that there was a pathway, and it was through a certain belief or through certain actions, and even though to a certain degree that is true, what is true is, in my opinion, is that it's all God. I'm standing in the middle of it. You know, we often say God is love, yet nobody can really define love. And so it is the undefinable. But again, just look at where I am. It's just so amazing. So, is God nature? Yes. Is God experience? Yes. Let's just toy with the idea that that somehow we have gotten separated by thought, by ego, by conditioned beliefs from this moment. Because, I mean, look, in this moment is immense beauty, it's just like, wow, in this moment. Many of the teachers have been trying to say that to us. Even in the 12-step teaching, Bill said God either is or he isn't. Either he's everything or nothing. What is your choice to be? And so I choose everything. I choose everything. And then my job, since that choice has been, how do I get out of the road enough to experience that in the moment? And I recognize that my fears, my desires, my judgments had kept me from that connection in the moment. My somehow idea that life wasn't working out the way it was supposed to. And when I kind of stumbled through that and recognized that everything, absolutely everything was perfect in the moment, then I found God. Because he was, he is, it is, she is. They are all in this moment. So that's the deal. How do you get there? Because it's right there. It really is. It's right here. It's right now. So be here. Wake up. It says we need to be reborn. And we are reborn into the moment. Each moment. We are reborn each moment into this moment. And nothing, absolutely nothing is missing. Isn't it beautiful? Wherever you are, if you just stop and look and be there, and breathe, feel this moment, nothing is missing. Nothing is right, nothing is wrong, nothing is good, nothing is bad. It's all exactly how it's meant to be in this moment. And then mind comes in and says, yeah, but I want. Yeah, but I want this or I want that. Well, be with those things. I don't believe that the moment gives us desires that aren't for us. But patiently, just without hanging on too tightly, recognize that everything that we need will be given to us in each moment. You can't always get what you want. But if you try sometimes, you just might find you get what you need. Yeah. So the prophets and the messengers have been telling us for years, forever, that this is it. This is it. Be here now. Yeah. I'm actually not going to read today. Maybe I will. Thought for the day. Because in the thought for the day, sometimes some of the messages that have been given to us, even in a book like this that I've been reading for almost 2 months now on a daily basis, have us in a situation where we're separate from God. And I'll actually point this out as we go through this reading, because it does say that we're separate from. And we're only separate from because of our mind. There isn't some separate being that is God. It's all God. We're living in it. You know, have you ever had the flu? You have the flu, and everything that you do is happening inside of that feeling of the flu. You have the flu, and you're sick with the flu, and so everything you do is in the flu. Well, it's the same thing with this relationship with the moment. Everything you do is within that relationship with God. We're in it. We're like fish in the water who can't see the water. There's amazing. I mean, we've heard that before, haven't we? Hang on. Get my coffee. Hey, Jason. Hi, Amelia. Look, it's so beautiful here. I found an amazing spot in Whistler. God, it's been really good. Bulletproof. I love my coffee. So we live in an amazing time when, for most of us, our basic needs are taken care of. So we can pursue, actually, we want this relationship. A lot of the teachings that we got over the eons, the ages, were teachings that were written for an illiterate population who were struggling just to make ends meet, struggling for survival every day. They didn't have time to be looking into the things that we have time to be looking into, which is our relationship with the moment, which is the gifts of God. But we have those moments. We have that time for some of us. Hey, Jason, for some of us, we have no option but to really make this connection and recognize that we don't know from our ego what's best for us. Ego is like a virus of its own. So we have to surrender in each moment to what wants to happen. Beautiful, eh? Okay, here we go. June 28th, thought for the day. It says, you can prove to yourself that life is basically and fundamentally an inner attitude. Just try to remember what troubled you most a week ago. You probably will find it difficult to remember. You will, for sure. Hi, James. You'll probably find it difficult to remember. Why then should you unduly worry or fret over the problems that arise today? And actually, they're not problems. They're opportunities. They're life. We've called them problems because that's our conditioning. Our attitude toward them can be changed by putting yourself and your problems in God's hands. So in the moment, recognize that God's hands are just in surrender. Every time we say, thy will be done, thy will be done, thy will be done, we're surrendering. And it becomes a practice of thy will be done. And the more we practice it, the better we get at it. I was sharing with a friend yesterday that remember when our children first started to walk and how many times they would fall. In a day, maybe 30 or 40 times they would fall, and yet they would get up, and until finally they were walking. The thought of not walking never crossed their mind. Well, it's the same thing with this surrender. We just continue to do it and continue to do it until it becomes a working part of our psyche, every moment. So every time we fall and start to run the show, every time we fall and go into complaint, every time we fall and go into judgment, every time we fall and feel sorry for ourselves, every time we fall and feel fear, we say, thy will be done. And we come back into the moment, thy will be done. And we breathe. And eventually, all of those things just stop happening. It's gone. Trust me. Anyway, our attitude toward them can be changed by putting ourselves and our problems in God's hands and trusting Him to see that everything will turn out all right. And of course, everything, providing you're trying to do the right thing. Of course, I like what it says, providing we're trying to do the right thing, because sometimes we're acting out of fear. Again, and fear can be very subtle. We have to keep our eye on it. And every time it appears, we say, thy will be done. We let it go. God, remove our fear. Our changed mental attitude toward our problems relieves you. Your changed mental attitude towards your problems relieves you of your burden, and you can face them without fear. And it says, has my mental attitude changed? And it comes. It does. Trust me, it does come. Meditation for the day. It says you cannot see the future. Right? That's what we fret about. We make up stories about the future. Oh my gosh. The mind is just hilarious what it makes up. And the trouble, of course, is that sometimes the future we make up in our fears, we create. because we do seem to have some power of manifestation. It says in our book, it says that fears set in motion trains of circumstance. So fear has power, and it creates what we fear. So we need to always let it go and surrender. Cannot see the future. It's a blessing that we cannot see. You cannot bear to know all the future. That is why God only reveals to you day by day. So God, I want to replace with the idea of the moment. God is not a separate thing. And sometimes in his writings, it seems like he's making God out to be separate. And let's recognize that God is life. The first step each day is to lay your will before God as an offering. So to say in each moment, in each morning as well, God, I offer myself to thee, right? To build with me and do with me as thou wilt. Relieve me the bondage of self. This is what we're talking about. The relieving ourselves, or being relieved of the bondage of self, so I may better do thy will. Take away my difficulties, that victory over them may bear witness to those who would help with thy power, thy love, and thy way of life. Every morning, and sometimes all times through the day as well. So, it says that the first step each day is that we lay our will before God as an offering, ready for God to do what is best for us. So, like God, again, being life, life will give us the very best in each moment. It's beautiful. Hi, JR. Good to see you. Barbara. The second step is to be confident. So we need to just know that it's to be confident that God is powerful enough to do anything He wills, and that no miracle in human life is impossible. Then leave the future to God. So just recognize, in the promises in our, it talks about we know peace because we recognize that we're not in control. We've surrendered, and that life is here to be lived and enjoyed in each moment. Prayer for the day. I pray that I may gladly leave my future in God's hands. I pray that I may be confident that good things will happen. So good things, all things are good things. Everything is for us. Yes, everything is for us. As long as I am on the right path. So God shows me every day the path. Life shows me every day the path. Because as we rise up, we move into unconditional love. That's the path. And I'm getting bitten by mosquitoes. Isn't that great? So as we move into, this unimaginable relationship with the moment, it's love. It's compassion. It's caring in each moment. Anyway, thanks you guys. I'm going to give you another little look at where I am. It's so gorgeous. Look how green it is. I'm only about, 100 or 150 meters from the front door of where we're staying, but it's just, this is a ski out from way up the hill, so they can ski down right to their condos. Beautiful, eh? What a beautiful world that God has made, that life has made, that the moment has made, that we live in. We're in paradise. Everywhere we go. Okay. Love you guys. Gotta go. Have a great Sunday. Cheers.